thank you for joining us for another episode of Hello APGD, a neighborhood podcast about the Audubon Park Garden District in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Michael Lothrop, and this is part 2 of my interview with Clyde Singleton, pro skateboarder, writer, director, podcaster, and chef. Check out Cookin' with Clyde pop-ups around Orlando, and also check out his podcast WCRP on Skateboarding on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to be a sponsor, please feel free to message me on Instagram at HelloAPGDPod. Thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you in part by Trevor Brown of Fannie Hillman & Associates. For listings, market trends, helpful home buyer and seller tips, email directly to Trevor at fanniehillman.com or find him on Instagram at TrevorBrown407. Just a heads up, there's some language and subject matter that may not be suitable for all audiences, so please take care when listening.
And it's a cool thing, man. It's a cool neighborhood. It's just taken me a while to just get out of survival mode, it really has, but I enjoy this neighborhood so much. I fucking love the 7-Eleven. That is like one of my favorite stores. If that place ever goes anyway, I would seriously cry. I go there every single day and get a Slurpee.
It's the most chill place, right? It's just
so nice.
They're so nice. They're like so always. Nice. It's always been that way too. Like something about it's like, and that's the only chain in the big chain in the neighborhood. Okay. There's ABC, but that's a Florida chain, and so everything else is independent. But like, there's sort of a spirit at that 7-Eleven that just like they're cool. They're so cool.
They are seriously so. I haven't checked out many other things. I've been meaning to ask you, what's some of your favorite places to eat around here?
Oh man, it's like Hinckley's Fancy Meats over at East End. He's got these killer sandwiches. He was on the podcast. He's been a chef at Michelin star places around the world. Okay, he's like this. Such an interesting dude. You should definitely listen to his episode. But he just loves making sandwiches, and he uses the best ingredients that he can find, and his stuff is killer. Like,
it's around here?
It's just across the street. Yeah, it's at East End Market.
Oh, is that the place? It's like the 2-story building?
That's the 2-story building. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I've eaten at the place downstairs there. They had what they have there? They had I think I talked to you about it.
Was it vegan?
No,
there's a vegan place. There's a cheese shop that does sandwiches.
Is it a vegan place? It's downstairs. Has a bar on the right side.
Yep. Yep. Depending on which side you come in from, but and then there's farm and house that's in the back. They've got breakfast and lunches and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, man. There's tons of food there. That's like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm gonna have to check it out, dude.
Yeah. And Domu, the ramen shop there, or ramen restaurant, is incredible. They just got a Michelin bib recognition. So
nice.
Yeah, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up too. Like Red Light is getting their own restaurant there, and our friend is the chef. And once that opens, that's gonna be killer. That's gonna
really
change the game, I think. Yeah, her stuff is so good. So it's like they're just about finished with the kitchen. So it's just a matter of time before that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's always been cool stuff, and actually where Bikes, Beans, and Bordeaux is, our friend who's been a chef in town. Is opening up a place as well. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So there's this next year is going to really change a lot. There's a place called Foreigner, which is like a chef tasting, like a set menu kind of like high end dinner. Cadence, which is across from Stardust, is a sushi place that has that same format. And they got a Michelin star recently as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So the food scene in the neighborhood is kind of huge, and Stardust was a very early adopter. They started out as a video store. You've probably heard that, and it's in the name too. But it was just a video store with coffee, and
then someone got a bright idea to sell a freaking sandwich.
Well, yeah, Brett has just always adapted with the times. It's just people aren't going to rent videos as much. We need to diversify. So we're going to add it. We're going to make a little cafe out of this. So adding food and then beer, and then eventually getting a liquor license. And it's, you know, been a venue here and there throughout the years too. So it's like now they're having more shows there. It's just like a cultural hub and kind of always has been. So he's always taken the lead on that. So it's very cool to see it still in that just like grassroots independent kind of thing. And we love that the market is part of that. And it's such a good like co-op situation.
Dude, I walked out front one day and I was like, I think it was when I first started there. And Sarah, I just remember she said something to me like, and if you want sprouts, you can go outside and buy them. And I was like, why would I go outside and buy sprouts? You know, she's like, yeah, just take money out of the register and go buy sprouts. And I was just like, walk around outside, grab a couple bucks. And I walked around and I was like, dude,
this stuff's great.
I was like, I gotta figure out how to be a part of this shit. Straight up. I was like, dude, because I loved doing pop-ups for so long. And that's kind of what I adopted the last couple of years is I started when I first quit drinking I quit drinking a week before everything got shut down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude. So
that's a tough time to stick with it too, right? Because everybody was like going inward, dude, and
everyone was going in. Yeah. And luckily for me, we didn't start getting, North Carolina was one of the places that didn't get unemployment right off the bat. So first couple of weeks, I figured out two things. I never really liked drinking at my house. I never really liked having alcohol at my house.
Yeah.
So I was always a social drinker, always. And so when everything shut down, I was like, I'm not sitting around drinking by myself.
That's an easy thing to avoid.
I was just like, dude, no. I was like, never that. And so my buddy owned a bar up in Winston-Salem, and the guy who owned my house, he was a manager there. And I was like, yo, dude, would you guys be down to like, if I could do like a little pop-up, like I had like $54 to my name. I was like, yeah. So I went and bought some chickpeas and a little bit of nori and a bunch of chicken thighs. I made some mock tuna with the chickpeas and nori. And then I did jerk chicken. So I did sliders. I bought a bunch of Hawaiian rolls and turned the 50 something bucks into like almost $400.
Nice.
I was like, dude, mind you, I'm broke. So I'm like, dude, thank God. So I was like, next day I was like, and so this is the great part about it. Everything was shut down, but the beer places could operate like restaurants up there because they were breweries. So they could stay open and bottle beer. And remember, everyone was drinking a lot, but no one had food because all the restaurants closed.
Yeah.
And here comes me with a bunch of sliders. So them sliders put me in business, man. And then from there, like I had a bunch of old recipe books, and I was just like, I'm gonna start putting some stuff together that, I just started freaking some stuff and started doing brunches, and it just took off. Cooking with Clyde took off. And then I was posting some food to the internet, and so I just started taking a bunch of things that they wouldn't let me do at restaurants, and I started making like weird tacos and all kinds of stuff, man. And some guy saw it on Instagram and was like, "You should come to skate shop and cook." And I was like, "Sure, have him hook it up." And so, with that said, I started a company called the Ali Llama. I was selling one of the Sean Cliver boards. He reissued my boards. And so I had a couple at the house, and people were like, dude, I want one. And so mind you, I didn't really have that much money. And so I was just like, sure, $150. Bam. $150, just sign it. People are coming over the house buying them. And I wanted to do this IG page that was like, so the stupid inspirational quotes people have.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So
yeah.
I wanted to mix that with skateboarding and call it the Ali Llama. And so I didn't have a Cash App, and I was like, so I started the Ali Llama Cash App, and then I started making Ali Llama t-shirts. I found an old Camel Cigarettes logo, and I changed the camel thing. I changed the whole thing. I made it a camel. I made it a llama instead of camel, put ampersand. It's literally, so it was all Winston-Salem stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I started this company, all of my unemployment back in one shot. So I bought a food cart and put it in my garage and flipped it before I moved down here a couple months later. And then I also, I trademarked my name. I trademarked the Ali Llama, and I did a LLC with it.
Yeah.
So like I literally took all of Donald Trump's money and put myself in business. And I bought a van and I put myself on the road. And then all those skate shops, like one skate shop had me. And then another shop was like, whoop. He's like, hey man, can you come through too? And so First time I ever went on the road, I had a tour. It was like 15, 20 stops, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I had a whole Cooking with Clyde tour. And so it just started, and I was going to all these skate shops, and like I was going there like a skate tour, but it was just me. I just pop out with like glass top cooker, just cook all this shit right there in front of people. I'd literally set up where like they'd set up boards. People were flipping out. They were like, you know what I mean? They were like, what the fuck? Like no one ever saw anything like this.
Yeah.
And furthermore, they'd be like, dude, it's you? Like, and they're like, you can cook? And I'm like, yeah, dude. And so I was in my own lane, man.
That's awesome.
You know, and it all just took off. And so when I got here and I saw you guys doing that, and I was just like, dude, you know, when I first got here, I went down to Lake Eola.
Yeah.
And I went down one of their markets on the weekend, and I was just fascinated by it. I was like, yo, I remember calling my friends. I was like, dude, they got those things down here. I was like, I need to figure out how to get in there, dude. I was like, they got all these food. Because you got to remember, dude, I lived in Massachusetts with my ex-girlfriend. I came from North Carolina in 2020, came down here for a couple months, 2021, moved to Massachusetts till the beginning of 2023. And yeah, dude. And then,
that's a lot.
Yeah, dude. And then I came back down here, kind of lost my brain for a bit. You know, I just kind of hit a slight depression, overthinking and overdoing shit, and got some time to myself. And then I got a job in Virginia, lived in Virginia in the middle of nowhere by myself. And then I moved to Mississippi. And so I'd just been to all these places that had nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if there were, it was like some fucking Trump rally or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just something I wasn't really, I never really saw it. You know, I'd known about flea markets and stuff, but not like a food market. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, yo, dude. And so when I walked outside and saw that out front, and I saw the waffle guy, because I used to do all kinds of chicken and waffles. That was like one of my main things. I do like carrot cake waffles and like all kinds of crazy waffles and chicken. And I do like one of my main things is red velvet waffles and chicken. That's like my staple, dude. And I sell it like a little sandwich, and saw the waffle guy and I saw the shit, and I was just like, dude, this is me. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, dude, this is fucking me. I was like, who are these people? Where do I? And then someone was like, oh, that's something. They come here every day. I was like, dude, get out of here. And so Stardust has been like, I don't know, man. To some guy that doesn't really know a lot about Orlando or about this area or any of that, that's, you know, it's a very special place to me. Yeah. You know, I've had some weird ups and downs there, but you know, for the most part, it's a very, very special place to me. It gave me an opportunity to, you know, meet you guys, do the market. It gave me an opportunity to open myself back up and to do some specials. And it also made me learn a lot about myself. It's really helped me deal with people and patience and you know, and also just open myself up to meeting new people and talking to people that I would probably, you know, that I never would catch myself saying that now, because I know all of these different types of people now that I would probably shy away from or you know, or like look at them and put them in some position in my head. And you don't know them. You don't know. You know, we're having a great conversation, couple hours conversation. Every time I see you guys, it's, you know, it's like all smiles. You guys are good. You're dark. And it's like that kind of stuff is important to me. Yeah. You know, it's like I've been through a lot, man. And just to know and see genuinely good people and as much as that place pisses me off, there's something special about it. You know, it's like a Cheers.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like it is what it is. You know, and but to me, it's a very special place. It's you know, it's someplace I don't dislike going in there. You know, like
yeah. And usually when you work at a place, you're like, oh, I don't want to hang out there ever. Yes. But like somebody that worked there back in the day, this guy Greg, he, I think, and this kind of stuck. It's sort of the slogan for Stardust is what you make it. Yeah,
it is.
Which is so true. I mean, it's just like it's its own thing, and it's something different to each person. But it's like it's such a community hub. It's really from all different walks of life and different mentalities, and it's like it's kind of the equalizer. You know, like everybody goes there. And there's no people reserve judgment. And it's like, it's just such an unusual place. Like you don't go there because you're going to get the best service or the best food or the best like timing of getting things, but you can have awesome of all of those things at different times, right? It's like sometimes that sandwich is just perfect, and it's like, this is one of my favorite things. Sure, yeah, but it's like it's what you make it, and it's what the people, whoever is there at that time, it's what they're making it that day. And if you're not down for that, it's not your place, maybe, you know. And plenty of people like know that, and they're just like, how can you go there? But it's magical in its own way. And it really, really is. And
you know what I think's really cool about that place? And like, I mean, this might sound kind of stupid and corny to some people, but there's been a couple people that have come there and been like, what days do you work? It's like, oh yeah. I just like, you know, I want to come here when you're working.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. I don't know, man. It makes me feel good to hear that, you know, that you can make someone else's day just by doing like what I think is pretty simple. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and even like you said, like a lot of people are like, man, you know, I'm coming here forever. I've never got my food that quick. And I'm just like, I don't know what everyone else is here is doing. like I don't want to look at your ticket, dude. Not like that, but also I just think it's cool. You know, it's cool to be able to do something a little different, you know, and also that people can still have the other way too. You know, like I'm not always going to be there. It's not always going to be great. And it's not always, you're always going to have a sandwich that looks like that. And that's what makes Stardust. You know, it's like having those kinds of things in this day and age are a godsend. Yeah. You know, because everything is just so cut and dry.
Right.
You know, it's just like
that fast food mentality of like McDonald's here is going to be the same as on the West Coast.
You know, it's like, it's more Good Burger than it is McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Right. It's perfect.
it's its own thing, man.
That's
and,
right.
It's cool, you know, and I think it's cool to just, you know, meet a lot of people. And I didn't want to pack my bags and go again. You know, like I've just been doing that so much over the last 3 years, and a huge part of gaining control back of myself, of not being a terrible alcoholic and kind of seeing things, you know, it's a long road, man. It's not easy, you know, and also finding a place to where you're at home, and it's hard, man. It's a whole nother fucking job that a lot of people, it's just like, you don't just wake up and, oh man, you don't drink no more. And it's like, it involves a lot of shit that you used to do a lot, you know, and it's very hard to find a peace of mind or just to not pack up and leave and, you know, I'm just out of here. And, you know, it's like, and having that luxury to get up and go. And it's just like, how many more times am I going to do that, man? Yeah. You know, like how many, like,
because everywhere you go, there you are, right? It's like, that's the saying, but it's like, you're going to bring whatever it is that you're bringing to whatever place. And it's like, this is a good place to have the space to figure it out, right? It's like, what do I need to do to be happy? It's like, I may want to go to that show, and I realize that like, it's going to be a real drinking scene, and it's not going to be super fun for me, but I want to see that. I want to see that band or that DJ or, you know, that artist. I want to go, and I'm going to do it. And then knowing those times when you just know it's not going to be a good scene and you don't want to do it, and being okay with that too, you know. And it's like,
usually when I go out too, dude, I will go out, and be out. That is my thing. Like even when I used to drink, I would go out, I'd be out, and then they're like, "Where's Clyde?" I used to work a lot, and I think, you know, a lot of times too, man, I have as outgoing as I am, I get social anxiety a lot. You know, I really do. Like I start looking around. I'm like, yo, you know, I start thinking too much. You know what I mean? I'm a thinker, dude. I just get anxious. There's too many people. There's too much going on, and I feel like it puts me in a place to where that's when I would drink and do a lot of my heavy partying, because that's what would relax me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what would make me outgoing and social. And I'm just
that disconnect, right?
That's what that disconnect is. Yeah. And so, you know, that's a lot. That's, you know, as I said, man, it's kind of hard. I don't, you know, I don't really talk about it a lot, but, you know, I do have a lot of social anxiety sometimes when I'm in those situations, and it's very difficult. You know, it's not easy being around that kind of shit. Yeah. You know, like you don't want to snap. You don't want to be pissed. Sure. You want to enjoy the moment. And it's difficult, man. You can't really wrap your head. It's not something, maybe it's going to take a lot more time too, you know, and
Sure.
then also
I think just having an awareness of it is a big start too.
Yes.
You're just kind of like, I need to have these boundaries because I know that this isn't going to be a good situation for me.
Yes.
And also I know why. So if I can work on that piece, figure out the why, or, you know, see what my limits can be now that things are different. And that may change from day to day too. And it's like,
Yes.
that's just part of life. You know, we have different capacities for different things, just like skateboarding.
Yes.
Like it's never going to be the same, you know, on a different day.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think that consistency, that like, I think especially being like, as you said, a thinker and being a creative person and having this energy and having this drive, that energy goes different places at different times.
Yes.
And caring about other people the way that you do as well, and just being really in tune with that. I think that all of that kind of contributes to your mindset and kind of where you are. And it's easier when you're with people that you trust and you talk to and you know where they're at. You have that shorthand.
Yes.
And like, that's where you want to be, because that's where the real connection happens.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, sometimes I just go, my neighbor's sitting out front on his chair, and like I get out of the car, I'm like, had a long day, and I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna talk to this guy for a minute. And I'm just like, that was a cool 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
awesome.
Just like, oh man, that was cool. You know what I mean? I go in the house, I'm like, that was better than probably any night out I could have ever had. You know what I mean? We're just sitting there talking, and like, it's a nice quiet night, and like we're looking, and you know, it's just things like you kind of take for granted. You know, it's like you're not just so on the run. Like, all right, man, I'm just talking to you real quick. I got to run inside and get back out and go to and it's like, you know, waking up and just being present. Mm-hmm. You know, I think I'm just still getting used to it a lot. You know, and like, and as I said, just letting my guard down and just genuinely sleeping and resting and like not like, man, what's going on? Am I going to get fired tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
in survival mode, right?
You're
just
literally
like,
in survival mode, man. And you're just like, am I going to get this place? Am I going to, like, what's going to happen? You know what I mean? So I'm just starting to really, you know, feel a lot of that weight go away, you know, and a lot of good things have been happening, man. And I think it's come with that. It's come with letting a lot of that stuff go and just really trusting the people around me that I'm starting to put around me, you know, because I've had a lot of reservations on people that I've been around, and I don't like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's stress.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go home like, man, I wonder if this person's my friend, or I don't need that shit.
No.
You know, I've dropped a couple people and dropped a couple things, and it's hard, man. It's hard to, you know, just be done. You know, it's hard, but it's also that sometimes you just got to do that. You know, everybody ain't going down the road with you, man. You know what I mean? So it might be somebody's exit this time, and that's just unfortunate. You don't really see that kind of shit when you're drinking and you're partying with these people, and you don't see that kind of shit. That's your people to the end.
Yeah, and it might actually be helpful to not be there in their lives too, because they may see like, oh, like Clyde was always the guy that kind of like made this okay, you know, or he was sort of the anchor of the situation. So now I've got no anchor, I got no wingman or whatever it is, right? So it's like I gotta figure out like what about this doesn't fit anymore, right?
Yes.
So you might be helping just by doing that, you know?
Yes. And you know, you don't think about that kind of stuff, you know, because there's, you know, people are like, you don't know a real one till they're gone. And like, that's a real thing. You know, a lot of people really, really are real, and they really deal with your bullshit more than you deal with your bullshit.
Yeah.
And you don't know that till that person's not around. And, you know, it's happened to me a lot. You know, it really has. There's been some people I'm just like, fuck, man. Like I done overfriended them, you know? I done put the friendship on tilt. Sure. And so, you know, I just think right now, man, I'm at a very happy point in my life, man. Like I go home, I sleep well. Like I finally got my house, you know, kind of where I wanted. And, you know, check this out, dude. I've never, I don't even collect my skateboards, dude. I send them out to my mom, and she would start giving them to kids. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? So, I've a lot of my Ali Llama boards that I've made, and just some of my older boards that I've gotten my hands on. I I put them up in my house. Like I've never had them up in my house. I've never had my skateboards up. So, it's like almost like, what am I ashamed of it? It's like, and I've never really had artwork and stuff up. I've just always kind of partied and I've had cool stuff, but I've just never.
Yeah.
And so, I've got my place hooked up now, and, I've been doing some things to it, and it feels great, man. It really feels great. It feels great to come home and, like look on the wall and be like, I don't gloat at it, but
no, it's about gratitude though, right? That's the center of it.
It is, man. It's just like,
you
just see all this stuff you worked for,
right?
Like, you know what I mean? And it's, although it's just a piece of wood, but you put it in context, like the stories and stuff you tell, the stories and stuff I've shared, and it's cool to just be like, man, like, that's awesome.
Those decks mean so much to other kids too. Like I just remember that, just like having that art on a skateboard. That's one of the coolest things ever. Like even if you're not that good at skateboarding, I mean, it's just so cool. So the fact that you have that, I mean,
I've had over 100 and something skateboards.
That is wild.
That's crazy, huh? Yeah, dude. Like,
wow.
And I've done when I started doing the Ali Llama, one of the big things is, we didn't get paid a lot from skating, but there wasn't a lot of money. We weren't smart enough to negotiate like that when we were kids. And also we would just go in and take shitloads of product. And
you were getting paid in gear, and it was like about the glory and the lifestyle.
Dude, it's like it's not like we were poor.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We weren't very smart with the money that we were getting and the products we were getting.
Yeah.
So, it's when I started doing the Ali Llama, actually a couple years ago I did a board for Strange Love with Sean Clyde, and not Sean Clyde, but the guy that owns it just gave me a bullshit deal. Just like, what the fuck? Like a couple $100, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, and so.
And what they're making on their end off your name.
So at this time, this is when everything busted wide open during the pandemic. So everyone was like, oh, dude, you can get boards, because skateboard manufacturers weren't getting boards made. So they were going to the little guys. And so the little guys were like, yo, we're doing it. So the little guys wanted to do boards for everyone. So here comes me, old pro skater. And so I figured I'm seeing all these older guys, that Frankie Hill is one of them. Frankie Hill skated for Powell. I'm seeing Frankie Hill make his old board. Powell's making his old board too. But then Frankie Hill starts making Frankie Hill boards. And so he's doing his thing. He's holding a board, like selling a board or two a day. I'm like, what the fuck? I found someone to make skateboards. First ones I sold, I think I did like 30 something. And so I rode for 101 with Nodis. And I was like, I'm going to sell them for $101 each. And I fucking sold them out, dude. Sold them out in like, dude, awesome. Not even a week, dude. I was like, dude, I'm not even joking. By the time I'd sold like 6 boards, I'd already paid myself close to what Strangelove would give me for whatever, how many boards. I don't know how many. I don't know what they're selling, because also during the time, this is a huge thing with skateboarders. It's so taboo to talk about this kind of stuff. Yeah. You don't see your board sales. Skateboard companies do not show you that shit. So you can have 4 or 5 different boards and like series and shit. You're not going to see how much they sell. They could sell 3,000 of them things in Indonesia. You don't know.
Yeah.
They're still going to give you a check for $1,000 and shoot you on your way and just come in and get some gear. That's how that shit works.
Yeah.
So I figured out, I was like, dude, I got my fans here. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, like, why wouldn't I sell my own product? So I started selling Cooking with Clyde boards. And so I took the Sean Clyde graphic and then did another series, and I had them come with crayons so you could color it yourself. Dude, this shit was genius. People were like, what the fuck? Sold them out, right? And then so I took an old Diggable Planets cover one, then I redid that one, sold them out. And then I found a guy that did reclaimed skateboards. He could do really cool art. And I was like, hey man, can you make me like I was like, dude, can you make me 12 of them? I sold them things for fucking $250 each. Wow. Sold them shits out in one night. Wow. So at that time, that was the highest selling professional skateboarder. All these other dudes came right up behind me, started like cornballs. I'm telling you, skateboarders are cornballs. So I'm not even joking, dude, they're cornballs. So once I figured that out, I was like, boom, I started doing shirts, and I would only do limited runs of stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are like, oh, where do you find stuff? And I'm like, dude, I only do limited runs of stuff because to me, that's what makes it more like I don't really tell people when I drop stuff, but when I drop stuff, it sells out.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for me to sell stuff like that. And some of my favorite rappers do it now. Griselda and Conway, they all sell their merch like that. And so I kind of adopted that and did it with Ali Lama. And next thing I'm going to do is some cutting boards, some Cooking with Clyde cutting boards, and reclaim skateboards and stuff. And that's really what I wanted to do. You know, I didn't want to do a skateboard company, but if I did, I wanted to sell limited boards. And I signed all the boards in Nimroom, because also what I seen what people were doing at first is they would buy the board from me, then try to resell it.
Oh,
on eBay or whatever. So I was like, one step ahead of you guys.
Always going to be some of that. Yeah.
One step ahead of you guys. I'm going to sign them in Nimroom so I know exactly who's selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because honestly, man, if like they're limited to, and then it's just like, why are you buying these, man? You know, it's just like, why? Why don't you, like, I would rather sell it to an actual fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I would rather sell it for less to an actual fan, to be honest, you know? And another reason I wanted to sell them for that much is because I wanted to start paying myself. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't got to pay nobody else. I don't got to pay no secretary. I don't got to come up with some cockamamie scheme to where I don't got to give some pros money. And so when I do a board for pros, if I do decide to do one, I can give them like, hey, dude, look, I'll sell this thing for $100-something. I'll give you $60 a board. Who's going to say no to that?
Yeah.
You know, I had a buddy that was doing a board with Powell. Check this out. He's redoing one of his old boards with Powell. Hits me up. He's like, dude, they're going to give me like 6% of sales. And I was like, this is Powell Peralta we're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
6% of sales. And I was like, dude, if you wipe your IG clean, I will run your IG and I will make you 100 boards and show you how you can make that money in no time. Literally, I was like, I can set you up with a pirate ship account. They'll come and pick them up for you. Yeah. Set you up with Uline boxes, all that stuff. I was like, all you got to do is be smart about this. Like, you got to quit letting people make money off of you. Yeah. Because all you have now left is your name. You know what I mean? Especially with skateboarding. So, like, they're not doing nothing that you can't do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Print media is dead. Yeah. It's dead. So, like, them putting you in a magazine is stupid. So you have the same reach as they do to any skate shop, anything. As a matter of fact, the skate shop probably want to talk to you before they talk to them. So if you were smart, you would use that to your advantage. Yeah. You know, with the internet and everything. And some guys just, you know, these guys are going to be like 50, 60 years old, man. Like,
yeah,
taking 5-6% on.
They've already done the work. They've built the name, and then somebody's coming to take, you know, a majority of their pie. And it's like, why? Like, just, you gotta, and I think that can be such a difficult thing with artists and, you know, anybody that's doing that sort of like skateboarding is an art, like hands down.
Yes.
So that somebody's going to be there to take the business end of it because they know that the artist doesn't understand it. It's like with every industry, every single industry.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's so crazy. And I think, you know, that's where in all of these conversations, Tony Hawk always comes up because he figured out all of the marketing thing and how to have that creative control and how to make it this business, this industry, and just kind of redefine the game, right? It's like,
well, he stuck around. He was smart enough to start a company and but his company wasn't like, you know, it was always, but the guys that were on his company figured out his thing. So like one of the guys on his company started hookups because he was smart. He's just like, dude, I can sell these boards like the Japanese dolls on them, And so he was just like, he started doing distribution through Tony Hawk. He was smart. You know what I mean? And so Tony Hawk has been smart enough to attach himself to things. Mm-hmm. So the thing with him, the 900 X Games, and then the video game.
Right.
Those two things. So he was able to tap into the guys that were smart enough to remember who he was as a kid.
Sure.
You get what I mean?
Oh, and
then also...
And part of that is that iconic graphic on the board too, right?
Exactly. Thank you. See what I mean?
Unforgettable. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't even know what Tony Hawk looked like until like the game came out, probably.
Exactly. Look, because no one cared.
Right.
You know, like that's no diss to Tony Hawk. No. It's no diss. There was a whole, this is why I do the podcast. There was some guys from 88, 89 to like 94, skateboarding was different.
Yeah.
And not only was it different, it changed a lot in a lot of times. I mean, but you just had to be there to know it.
Yeah.
You know, like you literally had to be there to like get it, to see what was going on. And it was like, it went from vert skating to street skating very quickly. Mm-hmm. And then the guys who were the street heroes, the Nodis and the Gons and them dudes were like, up came Matt Hensley and H Street and all them dudes. You know what I mean? And that shit happened quick. Like it happened. Like 1 minute you were watching Gons at Savannah Slammer, you're like, this is the greatest guy in the world. H Street video came out, you're like, ta! Done. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't even know who Gons is right now. You know what I mean? Like there was all these new kids, and they were relatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were relatable. They weren't superstars. You know, and so the superstar skateboarder was gone. And that's where Tony Hawk, Christian Soy, and all these guys were. They were the superstar skateboarders. They were awesome. They were great, but they were superstars. Yeah. They weren't relatable. Get what I mean?
Yeah.
You were focused on the content, like the graphics and the crazy clothes and all that shit. The other dudes were skating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them dudes were relatable. They were the dudes like us. And then the vert guy, there was a whole new slew of vert guys coming out. And so Tony Hawk was already that guy. But this is what it was. He didn't really have any competition up until then. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
He was that dude. Then Danny Way came around, and Danny Way was that dude.
Yeah.
And then from that early 90s, and then there was Danny Way and those guys, because Danny Way was skating vert and street. Mm-hmm. So he was a fucking new hero. Yeah. That was a new guy. Yeah. He was a Jesus. You know what I mean? He was a dude. But there was just a whole new group of guys. You know, like when after Jordan, there was Iverson, and you know what I'm saying? Like there's just a whole new group of guys that were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And everyone was emulating these guys and da-da-da. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just gone through so many waves, and skateboarding's been so short, but the history of it is so compartmentalized that people don't know. Vert skating just there's probably always going to be one guy, because I think everyone was so busy trying to be the next Tony Hawk that no one was trying to be the next guy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, and then Danny Way was doing a great job of being not the next Tony Hawk, but some other shit. Some guy ended up dead around him, and that's. That's a little skateboard history for you.
A little skateboard. So taking it back to, knowing what people look like aside from just the graphic on their skateboard.
Okay.
Videos obviously were like the way. And I just watched Minority Report.
Oh.
The video you did, was it 2007?
Yes.
Man, like what an amazing collection of videos. Yeah. And so tell me about that.
Oh, okay. So Minority Report was an idea that I had. I wanted to do a skate video that had a token white guy in it instead of a token black guy.
I thought I picked up on that.
That's it.
That's just the one. That's
it. And so also at the time too, it was kind of when I was, I was not really out of skating, but I was doing other things at the time. I was doing a lot of on camera interviews with trans. I was kind of doing a lot of no jumper and shit. Or like you go to studios and like I was doing that shit in like 2006 for Trans World. Going to studios talking to rappers and like all these kids were doing movies, skate movies and shit. And so at the time, I remember there was a bunch of guys that I was skating for Zoo York around 2005, and I wanted to put a couple of guys on, and they wouldn't put them on the team. And I'd always wondered why, but they'd always these kids had no space to be on, like no one would put them on companies. I don't know why. And so I would always tell kids, like I would always be very vocal, like, hey guys, like most companies don't have a room for one black guy. I don't know what you guys think this is, but that's literally how it goes. Like it would be 5 whack ass dudes on that team. But they will only take one of us at a time. Like I don't know if they think we're all gonna fucking rebel or I don't know.
Wow.
But that's just been the thing. And there's been a lot of companies that have never had black people on their team, so like you don't feel like there's a spot for you. You know what I'm saying? So
without that history, it's clear. Like they're sending a message, right? Because it's like, not.
I mean, that's just how I would take it. There's a lot of companies that like, I've been skateboarding since 1986. There's a lot of companies I've never seen a black guy on their team. So there's just a lot of companies I just wouldn't go towards, or I wouldn't, if I was a kid, I don't think they would go towards like, oh man, even if it was their favorite company, they would probably they wouldn't think that there's, you kind of get what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, and it sucks, but it's fucking obvious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was working for the Skateboard mag at the time, and I'd never made a skateboard video ever in my life and didn't know anything about editing. So I downloaded the program and had one of my buddies come over, and I was living on my friend's couch in LA at the time. I was working at a skate shop called Brooklyn Projects. And so I just started collecting footage from a bunch of filmers and told a bunch of guys my idea. And they were super down for it. And, I think a lot, and a lot of these guys were just sitting on the footage. You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to do with it? Who are they going to sell it to? What sponsor? What video? These guys, there's no room for these guys. And so, I'm not even bullshitting, dude. So I put this video together, and most of those guys ended up turning pro and ended up getting hooked up out of it, which is really cool. And it was just an idea I really wanted to do. I got a bunch of music from, a bunch of artists. I got a bunch of shit from Interscope. I had a friend that worked there. That's how I got the Busta Rhymes song. I worked with Mr. Lynn, who worked, he's one of the guys from Company Flow. And so he had a bunch of artists at the time too. I worked with Gene Gray, a bunch of people, man. And I just ended up putting it together, man, on this little fucking laptop computer I had. And yeah, dude. And then went on tour. Like, yeah, man, I sold, and the way that I sold it is I already had I had an ad that I was going to do in the Skateboard mag, and I asked them, do they want to be on the production side? I was just like, can I throw your name on there? And they were like, fuck yeah. And so I got the thing that looked like a masthead of a movie, and I told all the sponsors, I was like, hey guys, how about they were flowing these guys and somewhat, and I was like, hey, how about just buy like 500 copies at this much? And, it's kind of getting your guys out there, and put your logo on the thing. And so I had 10,000 sold before they even made. Wow. Yeah, dude. I got straight up like did it, dude. Straight up, dude. Like, yeah, did that all myself.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude. It's absolutely amazing.
So it's such a good video. And I think that growing up, you just as you said, like you didn't see very much diversity whatsoever. No, it was just like, there's like, and just to see like some of the best tricks. I mean, just
as good as anybody else.
Just as good, if not better. Like
exactly.
It's insane.
Exactly.
And the music is so good with it. Like I was blown away. Like it's so good.
I'm a huge proponent on, I do it a lot in like IG posts, and those kind of things are so easy to me, because I know what I've always liked growing up, and I know what I've liked to see. And so, music's always been a very strong suit in videos and putting video things together and putting video projects together. I've just always been, I always pick the music before I even start going. I don't even look at the footage. I'm just like, all right, here we got a song. Like I work backwards, dude.
That's awesome. No, I mean, it's like a mixtape. It's like what makes you feel that, and like what that is the framework of it. I mean, it changes everything.
It really does, dude. It literally changes it. It's
and you can tell that much thought was put into the soundtrack of it too, because it flows so beautifully. I mean, man, it's so good.
Yeah, man, I was super excited about that, and I don't know, man, it's really cool. Like, going back to the beginning of our conversation, I've always been a huge fan of Robert Townsend, and I just always thought it was cool. He was a producer, and I used to always watch his show on HBO growing up. I remember that kind of stuff, and I always thought it'd be cool to have a resume of like, I made a skate video and wrote for magazines and did photography and have a pod. It's awesome, dude. That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's like, that's shit to be proud of, and like, it's shit to really be proud of. It really is, man. It's not easy work. It's hard work. I like hard work. I like results. I don't know, man. You
and
know,
you
I'm
like
just,
creative control.
I love creative control.
That's
you know,
a thing.
I feel I'm confident enough that and if I don't feel confident enough, I'll let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't force it, man. Like if I have an episode I'm sitting on right now. I probably go home and finish it tonight because now I feel, I'm like back in my podcast mode.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like,
I love it.
I'm like, all right, cool. You know, like I'm like, man, like there's some guys I want to talk to coming up this coming week, and I just haven't felt creative, man. You know, and I just haven't felt like I'd be in control of being how creative it would be. I'd just be putting something together, and I have an episode that I think it's going to be a great season. It's a great episode. You know, it's some of the stuff we talk about. You know, we talk about childhood trauma, and it starts from talking about. Are you familiar with Gator?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I give you a little bit of background on this episode I'm sitting on. A good buddy of mine, Chris Markovich, he's also from Florida, skateboard legend. When he was a kid, we spoke about this on an interview. I told you I deleted a couple years ago. I got word that he somehow had the vehicle that Gator dumped the girl's body in. Hold on, he didn't know this though. He didn't know this. He just bought this car from Gator. Oh, Gator's selling me a car.
Yeah.
You know, a couple weeks later, that happened. He got picked up, and so, yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, it goes from that to like, and I'm just, I've been interviewing people since 1996. That was the first time I ever had to collectively gather myself and take a fucking nap afterwards. I was like, that was fucking heavy.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I was like, dude, I didn't know.
Yeah.
He's like, I even stayed at the house and like, I didn't know. He's just a kid. He's just out in California skating and he tells me Gator filmed most of the GNS video. And I'm just like, I'm going into this thing trying to put it together. You know what I mean? And so I get into the first 5 minutes, we're talking about skating and I just know the inevitable's coming up. And I just have been like, I don't feel like I don't know, man. I just don't feel like, I think opening up here and talking to you a lot, it's like, it's giving me the confidence to move forward and be like, okay. You know what I mean?
That's
like
amazing.
It's heavy shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's heavy, dude. It's like, and then he's a heavy hitter, like I put his reel out and it's going to do great, man. And, it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like that post, everyone, man, you just did 2 million things and I'm just like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah. It's
you
not
know
about
what I mean?
that.
Like literally that means nothing to me. I'm just like, and there's people that would die for that kind of shit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, dude, like, I just want to put an episode out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's all I'm thinking. I'm just like, I don't, everyone's, man, what are you going to do next? I don't fucking know. I'm going to keep doing the same thing I'm doing. That's not something I aspired to do. That's great. It happened, but like, I'm just really into like, being in control of creatively in control of the things that I put out, whether it be food, whether it be the podcast or, anything, man, just having that control and that self-awareness of like, okay, like, how are you going to do this? Like, you're going to make it cool. You're going to go in like defensive or you're going to talk about it in the bio. It's like, no, dude, just put it out. Let people listen to it, and, we talk a lot about childhood trauma. We go from that talking about, suppressing childhood trauma and it's fucking deep, dude. I don't really talk about that kind of shit with people. And he talks about his dad passing away and I was just, dude, it's fucking, I got to figure out a day to put this shit out.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't do it on a Monday. Everyone's at work. Like, fuck, dude, that was heavy. I'm just like, this might be some Sunday shit. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, man. So that's that. I got a couple more that I'm sitting on. I'm about to do Day One Song, I think this coming week. And I got some really good ones coming up. And I don't know, man. Just, I want to put some shirts out, but I'm super picky about that. I'm just like,
yeah.
I found a new printer and they do print on demand, which is awesome. And I don't know, man, I overthink stuff. And I'm like, I should just throw the Patreon out. And I'm just like, maybe it's not worded right.
It like when you are in charge of all the things, when with that control, kind of what you do with it and balancing all of the things, right? It's like when something does get massive attention and you're kind of like, I'm going to stay grounded. I'm not going to pay too close of attention to that. That kind of balancing act of how do I keep this real and also have the gratitude and also like keep that creative flow, because that's really what it's about. Like, yes, there's something about podcasting that is like therapy. Like I feel it every time. Like there's a rush that I get after each episode where I'm like, I have difficulty sleeping that night because I'm just I'm so charged, by it, because it's this new connection that I have with this person, and it is this. It's just so rewarding. There's just something about like getting this out, and now I don't have to carry this with me anymore. And I see people do that, and I'm like, yes. And somebody else is going to get something out of this as well that will connect with it or identify with it. There's going to be something. There's a ripple effect, right? And that's really what it's about. It's like, I would love for this to reach a lot of people, but I don't need it to. For it to be good, right? Exactly. That's kind of the thing, is like it's gonna find its audience, and as long as people appreciate it, that's really what it's about. Like, absolutely, I would rather have 5 good listeners than 500 fair weather listeners. That's right. Yeah, any day of the week. You know what I mean? And and I think that's what's kind of cool about doing niche things is you have your audience, and you don't need much. I don't, if I get more, that's great, but I'm very happy where I'm at. I'm very happy with the success that I've had thus far. Yeah. And if it, obviously it is going to go up, but I'm not going to change much. So I was telling someone, I was like, the funniest thing about doing 2 million or whatever, I was like, literally, I use the same hashtag. I use the same thing I've been doing for like 2 years. Yeah. Same thing. And one day it just struck gold. Like, you know what I mean? Like that algorithm lottery, right? Yeah. And like I was like, most people put like viral and all this shit. And I'm just like, I don't even know, but like, but clearly like that is, like I'm not going to change that formula. So I was talking to someone at Stardust, and she's like, you should do that on Instagram. And I'm just like, dude, no. No. Just say congratulations and keep it moving. It's like that wasn't my goal. That's never been my goal. That's not my goal to be on YouTube. Like I've done a couple of YouTube shorts and, like some video of me slamming and stuff. And I watch all that stuff and I'm just like, as entertaining as it is, I'm just like, this isn't for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just like maybe some things, like the clip today, like that's something good. But then it's like, what are you really chasing on there that you're not getting somewhere else? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like with podcasts. I find it cool that you can share it on different, platforms and stuff like that. That's cool. But you only publish it once, but the connection, that like RSS feed thing goes out to all the different platforms as long as you're connected to them. So it does make it very easy for distribution, right? Yes. And it's like, you can do as many episodes as you want. Like, it's just like, again, that control, and like, you do it because you love it. And that really comes through in it as well. It's like, even if somebody is not interested in skateboarding as a culture or whatever, it's such good storytelling. Like, it really, it's just like, it's such a, like an exploration of like humans that are doing this thing, right? It's like, it's so cool. It's like, that is such, it's like anthropology, right? It's like finding the Tartarians, right? It's so cool. Dude, it is. I love it. Yeah. It's literally like finding the fucking Tartarians and talking to like the whole lineage of them. Yeah. And it's just, it's almost, it's a lost thing. And that's what I'm saying, man. It's weird because there's so many of those guys, and I think all of their stories are special and unique, you know, and to me, I'm just like, dude, I'm fucking sick of hearing about the same dudes over and over and over. Do you guys think only like 12 people skated back then? And like, you need the approval of them dudes to hear someone else. It's like, I'm not going to none of those other guys' podcasts to hear these guys talk because they're not in tune with these guys. Right. You know what I mean? And like, that's just being honest. You know, it's like,
I've spoken to a couple of guys from the 70s, but it's like, that's not my niche, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking to them dudes. I don't know them fucking cone weaving dudes. Like, I don't know them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't. Like, that's
it's a whole culture. It's like a subculture within a subculture, right?
100%. And so that's what's really cool about this subculture is, you know, just how rare it was, and the guys, and how different everyone skated and dressed, and the boards and the shapes, and, you know, to hear the guys like, man, I knew the next wave was coming when I saw these, you know, to hear those stories, it's like, that's awesome. They're not bitter because they're still here. They're checking my page and they're looking, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, they're here. Like, get them here. Like, let's talk to them dudes. Like, them dudes ain't bitter. They just don't have nowhere to talk. They don't have no one to talk to, man.
Yeah.
And it's important for everyone to get their story out, because they seem like old jaded dudes or old washed up. And it's like, how you gonna call somebody washed up? You don't know what this dude knows. You know what I mean? He's not washed up. Like, dude's probably, I'm talking to one dude, June Kate, recently, and he's a name a lot of guys from my era would really know who he is. You know, I put him in a promo the other day, and Chris Markovich is like, dude, that dude rips. And I'm like, exactly. I'm like, see, and so I'm talking to that guy, and he's a head shoe designer at Adidas for golf. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm like, you know how, he's like, man, you know, I've always taken, he's like, and like, we get to talking, and he's like, you know, I took a lot of my skate thing from here and applied it to this. And, you know, I worked my way up, and I'm just like, dude, I did the same thing with cooking, you know, and like, and so it's really cool to talk to those kind of guys. And, you know, and like, he's like, man, I'm a huge fan of you. I'm like, dude, I remember all your shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking to him about tricks. I'm like, how the hell did you do this? And he starts talking to me about guys he grew up skating with, and I'm just blown away. And he's like, yeah, man, I listened to your one episode, and I want to let you know I skated for Stedham too. And I'm like, you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff, man, is like, I don't know, man. I live for that kind of stuff, man. And I think it's awesome to have a platform for those guys. And, you know, they don't have to just sit back and watch this. They don't have to sit back and watch a couple of people talk for their era, you know?
Yeah.
Like that is, to me, that's disgusting.
Yeah. It's not going to be the same basic questions too. It's going to be much deeper, much more personal. And you're not doing this for money. It's like, that's the other part of it too. It's just like, you truly are celebrating the person that they are.
Yes.
And you are interested in finding out more and sharing that with others.
Yes.
You know, and that's where people really open up, because that trust comes from that. They know why you're in it, and they know that you've been in it in a capacity as well. Yes. So you can relate. So it's like comedy people talking to other comedy people.
Exactly.
Like, that's when they get really funny, when they can like, that is the best. That's the best.
And like with the skating thing, that you hit it on the head, man. It's, you know, it's different when you're literally their peer, you know, and like, we were them kids, man. We were them guys that saw like the old guard change. Like, we saw it. Like, I made a reference to it the other day. I was talking about Matt Hensley, and I was just like, this is when we knew our new king was here. And like, a lot of the older guys who are worshiping the Gons and all those guys, that doesn't take away from them. But it's like, dude, you remember this. You remember this. Yeah. Because this is when we knew, like, thank God for Nodis and Gons and all them dudes, but this dude's our king now.
Yeah.
Like, this is our fucking guy right here. There's, like, and it doesn't mean those guys suck, but this dude is, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy, he's not a superstar. He's not going to, you know, he's out in some contest. He's way out there on the course, and he's not going to come over and something. No, he's my age, looks like me. He's ripping. You know, he's giving me hope. You know, and like, and there was just all those guys and all those kids that were coming through, and skateboarding was changing, the fashion was changing, the tricks were changing, and it was going at such a phenomenal rate that you would think it would be easy to forget a lot of these guys, but no, it ain't. Not if you're a skate nerd. You know, I'm sure like you love music. Yeah. There's some dudes you're like, that ain't passing me up. like I know exactly. Like when Rain Sanction, you're like, dude, I know who them are. I was like, really?
Yeah. Yep.
like, damn, you know Rain Sanction? That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've gotten to meet like some of my heroes in the music world too. Like people that I grew up listening to, and that like produce music that it was transformative for me.
Okay.
All of their work, and to meet them and get to know them, and in some cases like become friends with them. And it's like, I don't consider to myself to be a peer because they're just at such a level. It's like, yes, we both play music, but like, holy shit, like it is such an appreciation, but also they're so down to earth and they're just people. They're just like, they love what they do, you know, and it's no different from me loving what I do. You know, it's just like, yeah, it's so cool when you do meet your heroes and they are so sweet and they are so cool. And dude, I'm just like, that's the best.
It's honestly, man, it's like, I don't know. You know, it's like I said, the Ray Barbie one, and just a lot of different guys. You know, Chuck Treese is, you know, a guy I really looked up to as a kid. He actually played the music in Ray Barbie's part as a kid. And so like he did the theme music for for the podcast, and he's been just a huge supporter and just a super cool guy, man. I went and saw him. Me and my ex, I lived up in Massachusetts. He had us come to a show, him and, or G-Love, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They were on tour, and, you know, they invited us up, and it was and he's such an awesome guy, man. He still hits me up, hey man, how you doing? And that kind of stuff, man. That just, you know, that is more currency to me than anything.
Yeah.
You know, to have a genuine friendship with a lot of these guys, and to see these guys like still following and, you know, chiming in and stuff, like, that kind of stuff is priceless to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because to me, I'm just little old me doing this thing, you know, and like, I'm just out here just living, you know, surviving, as they say.
Yeah.
And it's cool to, you know, to genuine, like, you know, to know people are very genuine still. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of those guys are older, and they're just, you know, they're just good people, man. Yeah. They're just good people that just happen to start skateboarding, you know, and it's cool. They're not in it for the money or the fame, or, you know, and they're stoked on everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, man, I want to be that old dude. You know what I mean? Like, I like all y'all. And I'm just like, and it's so cool when you start seeing a lot of that stuff, because they're not gatekeepers, man. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of gatekeeping, I'm sure, in the music industry too. And, you know, it's just a lot of gatekeeping and just bullshit, you know, like, dude, I've heard about the clubs, I heard about the contests. Dude, we get it. We get it. Trust me, I get it. Like, like whatever you guys think is great, it probably sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably getting paid to like, you know, It's like, and that's absolutely cool. But a lot of people just did not sell out. Yeah. And those are the people that are golden. Mm-hmm. You know, those are the golden people of the world, the people that didn't sell out and still have principles and that are still cool. Yeah. You know, and they're not trying to be cool. You know, like, they're not walking around with the new Nike SBs, and, you know, they're not worried about who's doing what on Instagram. They're cool people, dude. Yeah. You know, and they just skate. And I think a lot of us forgot that. And, you know, we replaced it with alcohol and drugs and fake friendships and all kinds of shit like that. Yeah. And
there's an image component, right? And that's absolutely, like part of the selling it, is that having that image and having that's where the ego comes in, and it just changes it. It's like, if this isn't fun and it's not authentically you, then what are you really doing? You know, I don't know. Are you an actor at that point?
It's kind of like identity politics too. You know, it's like a lot of people identify themselves with where they live or who their sponsor is. Yeah. Or, you know, it's not like it's fucking corny. It's weird. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like someone having a Wu-Tang tattoo, and you're like, dude, you're not in Wu-Tang. Like, like, it's like, do you identify because it says a W on you, or and that's just it's a lot of
branding.
You know, that's what a lot of skating is, and you know, a lot of, you know, it's just, as you get older, you just, I don't know, man. I just still love skating. I was never jaded about it. I'm never jaded about anything. I'm very honest. You know, being honest and open about things clearly is not very cool, and not
I mean, I think it's becoming cool finally, as it should. You know, I mean, I think that gratitude should always be in fashion, you know. Absolutely. Like, I think that's where I identify with people the most, is if they're sincerely grateful and they're not changed by the attention, but they just love what they do. And like, they're drawn to it. It's almost like a compulsion. Like, you have to keep doing it because you love it so much. that's what I identify with. Cause I'm like,
Yes.
I don't want money to get involved. It's
Exactly.
like we'd play shows and, we'd get money at the end of the night and we would give it to the band if they were touring.
Okay.
Every time. Cause it was just
That's
like,
awesome.
it was just like, we just drove down the street, this is just fun for us. Like you guys have actual expenses. Here's our cut, like every time. Cause that's just the right thing to do. I don't know. It's supporting one another. Yeah. Finding a way to all make it. Like you were saying,
Yes.
like when somebody has not the best gear and you all like find out a way to like pitch in. I think you were talking about that on a recent episode. I'm like, that's so cool. It's
Yes.
like make sure everybody makes it. Make sure
Yes.
everybody's like got what they need. And like, this is community. That's how we do it.
I've said this so many times about skateboarding, and this is the most important aspect of skateboarding is the community of it. And a lot of people forget what you're just talking about because I come from the era of you build a ramp, you skate the ramp, you eat around the ramp, you all skate each other home. That's the era I came from. You have a fucking community. That's your community. That's your boys. Like your boy ain't got a good board. You get a new board, you set your boy up with a board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like that's, your boy's got some shitty shoes. We are going to get him some shoes. Like that's how I came up, and so when things did start taking off, it was just, I don't know, man. Like I've given away most of everything I've had, because to me, it's like, it meant more for me for other people to have it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you hang on to the things that you need.
Yes.
But if you have something that somebody else could use, it's going to be there for them.
I'm just like, what am I going to do? Like you send me like 5 jackets, dude. I live in Florida.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what am I going to do with 5 jackets? So all my friends are wearing like all the cool jackets, all the cool pants, all the cool shoes. And, to me, and to them, they're stoked. You know what I mean? I'm just like, cool. Like, here, you want some more shit? And like, I don't got nothing I'm doing with this. And so it's really cool to think that, I think that's always been my thing, and I don't think I will ever be broke, because I've always had a community, that's what I thrive off of is community, and I think that's what really drove me to being here in Orlando is like, the skate community was really cool. The guys at Plus have been just awesome. Like he is just, I love Keith to death, man. He is just a throwback of, of the guys I grew up skating with. She's that, some skate rat dudes, dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? They just hang out and skate and drink it. They all hang out together and people are like, they think they're like a certain way. And I'm just like, nah, dude, like they're super cool. Like they didn't just take me in because I'm Clyde Singleton. Like they know. Like when you are in a crew and you know who's cool. You know exactly what's up. You know who's a community-based dude or who's here to like take advantage and shit. And they were really cool, man. And every time I've been here a couple times before and did pop-ups with them, and they've always been very supportive. So that was, between the job not working and some other shit. There's a lot of things that kept me here, doing the market. That's been just a godsend. And, that's kind of got me in with some other markets. I do Fair the Dog, Sunday. Nice. I should probably start prepping sometimes.
Yeah, man.
So, I'm just like, and I don't know these people, man. And so many people have been hitting me up about like, man, you should do Nora's and all these other places. And I'm just like, you don't know these things until you meet people from the community.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like, I wouldn't have known these places are around the corner to eat. Like, I ate at the one place and they had shishitos. That's what they had, shishito peppers.
Oh, love it. Mm-hmm.
The place that's downstairs at the bar.
Yeah.
The 2-story place I was talking about. They had really good shishito peppers. And I remember being like, damn, they got shishito peppers around here? Not that it's a big deal, but I was like, man, like, I love shishito peppers. And I was like, there's a place that sells them here. And like, now you're telling me all the other food there. And I wouldn't have known it because you guys are like community based, all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it feels comforting to know, man. It's very, very comforting. Like I said, I can go home and hang out with my neighbor on the porch. Like that kind of shit is important, dude.
It is.
You know how hard it is to move into a situation like that where like everyone's super cool and they tell you all the cool shit and dude, I'm very grateful to be here.
Yeah, man, that's so awesome to hear that, because it really is like it's such a supportive scene here, and it's very cohesive, and it's good people doing good things, and really like understanding what it means to support one another.
Yes.
And there's just I think that it's got such momentum that it's sustainable as well, which is super important. You know, like people are sticking around here, and Florida obviously has its problems, but Orlando is kind of this oasis. Like it's pretty incredible just how the quality of life really is attached so much to the people that are here, you know, and how they treat one another, and
because they stay in the community, they mind their business. That's why it works out. Yeah. That's literally why it works out. Like most people don't know when to stay in their lane and mind their business, and you know what I mean. And they break up communities instead of like building it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you guys know a bunch of talented people that have a bunch of stuff that want to sell and shit like that. Like someone else would try to capitalize from that. You guys offer an opportunity for everyone to come together and do something, and you know, and like you generally, it's a good vibe when you get there. You know what I mean? It's like I'm walking around talking to people like I went to school with them. You know what I'm saying? And like, and that kind of stuff is important to me, man, because I've tried to live so many places in the last couple of years, and just like not try to fit in, but it's not community based, all these places. You know, if you're from there, but then it's just like, why would I want to be from here? You guys don't even fucking like each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like here, it's like, it's cool, man. It's cool to feel welcomed, and it's not like fabricated. And it's also just very cool to sit back and watch, just like, you know, everyone, like, I'm like, dude, you guys are here every fucking day. And I was like, that's fucking cool. Like you guys are in the coffee shop, like, and there's people there every day. And I'm like, that is awesome. There's a place that's in the community that people feel like they can just come up here and hang out.
Yeah.
You know, they don't feel like they have to spend like $10, $12. Someone's going to come out here and kick them out, or like tell your dog to get out of here. Like there's something special about that.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed to be a part of it. You know, man, there's something special about this place, and it's not Disney World.
Right. Right.
Yeah, 100%, man. I've been saying that since I've been here. I'm like, it's something, man. It's cool. And I don't know. You know, even the neighborhood I live in, man, it's a little different, but to me, it's cool own little neighborhood. You know, it's different, but it's cool. No one over there bothers me. I don't feel unsafe. I don't feel like, you know, it's just another neighborhood in Orlando that's cool. Like, met everyone there, and all the neighbors are cool. I'm like, damn, you guys all like each other. Like, you know, to me,
I mean, I know like almost all my neighbors' names.
That's
and
cool,
we
right?
talk. Yeah. It's really, really cool.
I've lived places and had no idea who lived next door to me for like 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like straight up, like just kind of see them, like didn't know their name. Hey, man, hey. And like here, I'm just like, man, all these people like knew each other. They all come here and hang out, and like, they're not cat fighting, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's very refreshing to see a place like this. And like, I'm sure you could come here and get jammed up and like, you know, try to do all the things and hang out. But I think once, you know, I found my little pocket here, and I'm staying in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm staying in it. Like I've been to a couple cool shows at the Iron Cow. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's
look at that.
great.
See?
Yeah.
I've been to a couple good shows there. Let me think where else I've been. I went to the Abbey, saw Souls of Mischief. That was cool, besides everyone being drunk, Tito. But it was a great show, nonetheless. I've been in some cool markets here. Yeah, man. You know, I'm just kind of getting my feet wet, and I feel comfortable doing it. You know, I go to some places completely by myself.
Yeah.
I went to the Iron Cow completely by myself.
Yeah.
Met some friends there, and was just kind of walking around. It was just like, this is cool.
It's the best, isn't it?
Saw a really awesome band there. I work with them on another podcast that I've been kind of working on. I do this thing called Push and P, and it's about podcasts. We should do an episode. So
all right.
Sit down and talk for another couple
more
hours.
That sounds good. Yeah, man.
But I work with this local band called the Synthetics. Super good. You should check them out.
All right.
I just plugged them again. Dude, I should be their manager.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. So I put them on the first episode of Push and P. And they sound great. I saw him at the Iron Cow, and at first I was like, he gets on stage, and I'm like, what's this dude got to sing? You know what I mean? He's got some Nike SBs on. I'm just like, the music's playing, and I'm just like, I'm kind of judging these guys. I'm like, what are these guys going to do? Dude, this dude started singing that shit sounded like New Order. I'm not even joking, dude. Wow. I would put you on to them tonight. They sounded absolutely amazing. I sat there for like 10 minutes, watched them play a couple songs, didn't say a word, looked over at my buddy John. He was like, do you hear this shit? And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, these guys are great. So, just being able to see those guys. What's Hannah's band? I think they're really cool. Systematic. Mm. I like them. I think it's awesome. It's like an little girl group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like little go-go's. Like,
yeah. So good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, so I think it's cool, man. I haven't been to shows and stuff in a while, and I've been to a couple here, and I've only been here a couple months, man. Mm-hmm. I've already been to like, I think three shows. I've been there since January.
Yeah.
That's the most shows I've been to in 6 years.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude. Like, I don't go to shows. It's like, I would either be too drunk or just go to the bar, so it's really cool to like that there's a scene here for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like whether it be at Stardust, whether it be at the Iron Cow, and I haven't been to Will's yet. I heard that's a pretty good place to see shows.
Great venue. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to go there, see a show. Yeah, man, I've been riding my bike, like I'm Orlando, dude.
I love it.
I'm gonna find smiles in North Star, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, man, I love it here, dude. I thank you guys for everything you've done since I've been here, man. You guys have made it that much sweeter.
Oh, well, we love seeing you around here, and we'll see you around.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you in part by the Audubon Park Community Market. Join us every Monday from 5 to 8 p.m. rain or shine in the parking lot of Stardust Video and Coffee. Located at 1842 East Winter Park Road, this weekly gathering of makers, farmers, gardeners, fishmongers, ranchers, craftsmen, artisans, entrepreneurs, neighbors, and friends brings the very best of Central Florida to you every week. We do hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please click subscribe and leave a review if you'd like. We'll see you next time.